there like 2 to 3 times a month, and we were making $300 a month playing this bar.
Damn,
And
I didn't know Nashville bars paid that good. I've always wondered.
yeah, we were doing good. Well, because our singer Elon, his success with his band before us, like really like made it easy for us to kind of get started in Nashville. And
Yeah.
the owner of that bar owned Tootsie's and Wannabes and this one, and they were connected with a hallway that ran behind all of
Oh,
them.
okay. I think I know what bar you're talking about now.
Yeah, yeah. And so the beauty of it was that if all these woo girls and the
Yep.
bachelor parties, they would go into Wannabes and Tootsies. Well, if they had to piss, the only bathroom was in our bar where we played.
Yeah.
And so there was always a line to the bathroom, and these people had to stand there and watch us. And I mean, we're just doing fucking just the just some crazy thrash stuff. We're throwing fireworks off on stage. We've got fire extinguishers blowing and blasting and strobes just making people seizure out on the front.
That's the
And
only way to do it.
oh my God, it was fun. And we were lit the whole time. And then the girls who would come through there to pee, they would just be head to toe bachelorette, with the sash and the crowns, and
Oh
they're
God.
just fucking plastered.
They just
And
got off the
they're
pedal taverns, huh?
yeah, and they're right in front of the stage while we're rocking out and doing our thing, and they're like woo, and then Elon, our singer, he would take a fire extinguisher and just blast them in the fucking faces with these things, and yeah, so that's my Titans experience. Yeah, we can do a whole episode on fucking smoking meat, because if there's
Yeah.
one thing I know, it is playing with meat,
We know our meats. All right.
especially the thick, juicy ones. Mm.
The thicker the meat, the more I eat. I didn't have anything there.
That was good.
What's up, everybody? I'm Joe. This is James, Kevin. We are locker room junkies. And it's been a while, fellas, but there's a lot to catch up on. You know, I think Kevin, we could just probably jump in and say the Titan season's looking like it's over. I think that's
Yeah.
official at this point.
And a .2 chance to make the playoffs still somehow. I have no idea how they have a .2 chance, but they have a .2 chance.
Point two, I guess the point two chance probably comes just from our division. Like if Houston was to slide really bad and lose
If
every game.
Houston, yeah, if Houston didn't win out, if Houston doesn't win one more game, the Titans would then, yes, win the division if they won out. Wild card, I don't know how they could do that, especially
Yeah.
with Denver winning. I don't see how that's possible.
I don't think wild card would even be a possibility.
It'd have to be the division, and Houston would have to lose the rest of their games. Tennessee would have to win.
Yeah, yeah. But
Yeah,
let
it's
me.
over. So yeah, it's over.
I mean, I think it's pretty comfortable to say it's over. I
Yeah.
don't know the Titans' remaining schedule at the top of my head, but I can't imagine they're gonna. They might be favored this week against the Jags, but I can't imagine much outside of that they'd be favored in.
It's actually pretty easy. Jags twice, Colts once, Bengals once, and then the Texans again at home. So they really could win 4 out of 5 of those. If they
Yeah,
fucking play
I
right.
mean, there's a small window that it could come down to the last game of the year, but
But Houston's going to win one more game
Houston's
somewhere.
gonna win. Yeah, the problem is I just don't think Houston, like you said, Houston's not gonna lose out. That's too
No,
hard.
no,
But let me
not a
ask you,
chance.
at this point, do you even want them to win? Or because if let's just say they won out and then lost one more, that puts you in a not the best spot for the draft. You'd be probably like 14th, 15th when you could have been top three, top four.
As a fan, you always want them to win. Uh,
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
don't want them to lose. Just like people got mad at the Derrick Henry game at the end of the year last year. Like I wanted them to beat the Jags.
Yeah.
They wouldn't have, well, they wouldn't have got better draft positioning anyways. But unless they're going to get a top 2 or 3 pick, which I don't think they're going to get now at this point because there's so many teams worse than them.
Yeah, there's a few teams that are worse. That's the
I'd
problem.
much rather see them. I'd always. It's hard. The only time I rooted for them to lose was the year we got the number 1 pick in that last game. It's like, all right,
Mhm.
you got to fucking lose this one.
Well,
And
I
they
don't
almost
even.
came back and won that game too, which would have put them at number 2. And it was the year they traded the Jared Goff pick, went to the Rams, and they got that haul, which we actually blew that draft.
Yeah.
Uh, but yeah, we could have just got Jared Goff. It'd been a different story. But But yeah, no, you want him to win. I think you want him to win. As a
I
fan, I
mean,
don't
I
want him to lose
agree.
out.
I agree with that, especially from my standpoint. Like at least salvage some of the season and make it exciting. And there's always that small chance, something to look forward to. Will Levis has looked a little better. I mean, there's
Looks
some
great.
positive though, but that's got to be tough from a coaches and GM point of view. Like the quarterback you've been wanting to see is going to be your quarterback. Kind of sucked, and now he's looked a little better. It puts you in a weird position. Like, okay, well, do we keep trying or do we move on?
He's got the job. He's looked great. It's sitting behind Rudolph actually helped him to see what a quarterback's supposed to do,
Yeah,
and he's changed. He's like something like I don't think it's an anomaly. Something has changed in a good
yeah,
way. Like he sat there, he saw some things, and now one of the big things I notice he does is when he doesn't have a pass, he actually tries to run.
yeah.
And if he takes a sack, it's a 2 yard loss, which isn't bad. And he's kind of I think he must learn this from Callahan because Joe Burrow's the exact same way. He said a sack's not a bad thing always, and if he's right, it's really not when you think about it. Like it's better than an interception.
It's better than an interception, a fumble,
Yeah,
or holding the
and
ball
taking a
too long
controlled
and a
sack.
2 yard sack,
Yeah, if it's a
becoming a
controlled
7 to 10 yard
sack.
sack.
Yeah, if it's a controlled sack, I mean, he at least scrambles and tries, and he may break one and get a few yards out of it. But that's changed. Like he'll go through his reads and you'll see it, and then he takes off if nothing's there, which is that's why they drafted you. Do this. You're not
Yeah,
gonna.
yeah.
Someone's not necessarily, and then he still looks downfield though, and if something does come open, he did it in the Washington game. Something came open, and he made an amazing throw.
Hmm.
Um, so he's something clicked, something's changed, which is good. He's just I think sitting behind Mason Rudolph really helped him.
I think there's some truth to that because I kind of feel not to jump to a different team, but as and not just to be an Alabama homer, but I feel like that helped Bryce Young sitting because he's looked better too the past few
Yeah,
games.
same.
And
And
it's
he
like
Richardson,
sometimes,
Richardson too.
yeah, yeah,
He's
Richardson as well. Yeah, that's another good point. And I feel like we kind of just, I mean, that used to be the thing to do. You would sit and learn, and we kind of got out of that. Everybody wants like, oh, that's our draft pick. Put him in now. We want to see the results instantly.
yeah,
But sometimes they do need to learn the speed of the game is completely different in the NFL than it is college.
yeah. It's good.
And
It's good. It's a good thing. So as long as he keeps improving, then I mean, he if he plays level the rest of the year, he's got a job. He'd have to really fuck it up. He'd have to revert back. But like, I don't see that happening just because it's clear something has changed.
yeah,
And the defenses already know what they're going to throw at him, and they can't. He's not just getting lucky because they don't have tape. They got tape. They know what he's going to do. He's just able to see the field better, and he got to sit and learn. And he got to sit behind Tannehill a little bit, but he was injured, and Tannehill was checked out last year, so he didn't
yeah.
really get to learn much from him.
No, he didn't get to learn much, but um, and it's a draft too, where I mean, what quarterback do you really feel comfortable that you would say we're ditching you to get them? There's not many. There's
Any
not really any I would think of, honestly. I mean, unless you're all sold on Deion Sanders' son. I mean, that's really about
Cam
it. I'm
Ward,
not sold on Cam Ward. I'm not sold on Milrow. So
Cam Ward would be the one I'd go after if I was doing it. I mean, Sanders is
Cam Ward has the highest ceiling, I think, out of the three. Um, I just
um,
don't know about Sanders' son,
he's made
Deion's
some
son.
good throws. I watched him actually. He's done a lot better. Just watching some of the throws he made, I'm like, damn, that's a good pass. Like, I
He's
know it's
got
funny.
an arm, and I think he can ball for
He's
sure.
accurate, and he's really pretty. He's really accurate too. So I mean, he maybe end up being good. It's just tough to believe that they're going to be good.
Yeah, well, I also just don't think Titans are going to be in any position to get. I mean, he's probably going to be 1-2 with him and Cam Ward because quarterbacks always go first.
If they can get Travis Hunter somehow, they should go for that. But I don't think he's gone. He's gone as soon as he might be gone number one because if Jacksonville's drafting, they're not going to draft a quarterback.
No, they still believe in Lawrence.
Yeah, so they're going to get him. He's gone 100%. He's fucking gone. If
Such a versatile player.
Yeah, he's good. He's pretty good.
The question is, what would he be in the NFL? I doubt they let him play both sides of the ball.
Jacksonville might because it's Jacksonville.
Because it's Jacksonville, they don't give a shit.
Their owners, they don't. They'll be in London soon, right?
They practically are in London anyways. They might as well.
Yeah, man. But the Titans, we don't want them to lose. We want to keep winning. We don't want to tank for a draft pick because you're not going to get a top three pick. Even then, I still wouldn't want to tank unless it's the last fucking game of the year and it's like, hey, you have the number one pick on the line.
Yeah, yeah, that's the rare
Yeah.
scenario.
And even
But
then, you're still, yeah, it's tough. But now they're not going to get a top three pick no matter what because there's just so many other teams that are worse.
yeah, yeah, that's true. And they kind of get what they get. And I mean, I guess Callahan's obviously going to get a second year. He didn't fumble the ball
He's
too
figured out how to
bad.
play call. He's figured out how to play call finally too, which has been nice.
Yeah, that's gotten better. The special teams has continued to just crumble, and
Fucking ruined us.
I don't think it could get any worse. But every week it just gets worse, and I don't understand how. And like how I don't know how there's some coaches you expect to hear, okay, they're getting fired after this week, and he does it. It's whatever.
I don't know. I mean,
He
is
must
Nick
be.
Folk's such a beast that Phil Pickery makes up for how bad?
Hey, that was like the last good. Well, I mean, Rabel did a lot of good things, but that was like the last move Rabel
Yeah,
pulled that was like legit.
yeah, well worth it. He made a
Yeah.
56 yarder at 40 years old. I don't think I'm sure that's a record for a 40-year-old. It has to be.
Has he missed any kick this year?
He
Maybe
missed
one. I
one.
think
He
it's
missed
just one,
one.
right?
Yeah,
Your kicker though, what's happened to him?
yeah.
Justin
It's
Tucker. I
very.
mean, Justin Tucker's done a lot. He's due one bad year.
I guess I don't understand it. Something's going on with the guy. It's
Yeah.
terrible. He's been bad. He's been bad, and I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah. But the Bucks, on the other hand, they're right in the picture for a playoff.
Yeah, that's. I saw
I
that.
don't, they're kind of the same boat. Like they could potentially get a wild card, maybe winning out, but I think it's more like Division Two because the division's so weak, and the Falcons have just completely fallen off at this point.
Yeah, I don't know what happened with those guys. The Falcons were doing great. Kirk Cousins forgot how to be a quarterback all of a sudden. I guess I don't know. Maybe who knows? But
Yeah.
he'll
Well,
probably get traded in the offseason and Penix will be the starter.
yeah, they'll be calling for Penix, especially if they don't make the if they slide and don't make the playoffs, then Cousins will be out.
Yeah, he'll be
And
out. He'll be traded. I'm sure. I mean, maybe Dallas. Well, no, they just signed Dak. He's not going nowhere. I don't know.
they
You can
paid
see.
Dak too much money. Maybe to the Jets. Maybe the Jets pull him. They'll probably get rid of Rodgers, I assume.
Honestly, it would have been the Titans had Will Levis not shown what he was doing. I think that would have been a smart move for them to go
Yeah.
after someone like Kirk Cousins. But yeah, something's going on down there in Atlanta. I haven't got to watch any of their games recently, but they've been doing shitty, and Tampa's probably going to win the division. They are the best team in that
They're the
division.
best team. Well, Tampa's better. I think Tampa's better than what their record shows, and they're healthier now too. That's another thing. Uh,
They were unhealthy because they
but
got injured.
Tampa had this stretch of 3 weeks where they played the Ravens, the Chiefs, and then the Niners when the Niners were still rolling.
Yeah,
Um, that's back to back to back weeks. That was their schedule. That's got to be one of the hardest stretches on anybody. And not to mention they played the Lions earlier this year, but
beat them.
They beat them. So they haven't had an easy schedule by any means. And that stretch is hard as hell. Playing the Ravens and the Chiefs back to back's hard alone, and then you throw in the Niners. And I'm pretty sure they only got one of those 3 games at home, so that's even tougher too.
Yeah, well, I think Tampa's going to probably. I mean, they should win that division.
Yeah,
I mean,
they're the best team in the division. They should have beat the Chiefs. They should have gone for two and went for the win. And
yeah, I was surprised at that. I
those
thought they were going to go
scenarios,
for
like
two.
you're already gambling in overtime, so why not just gamble here when all the control is in your hands? You know what I mean? There's no reason to just play it soft, especially against
Baker.
Patrick Mahomes. Like
That's Baker's second time he should have beat Mahomes.
yeah,
That
yeah,
Brown when he was with the Browns, that playoff game was he should have fucked that. That was Brown should have won that game. I remember watching
yeah,
that. I was like, golly, the refs fucked him big
yeah,
time.
yeah. Well, Chiefs. I don't know how, but the refs always find a way to help the Chiefs. It's a real conspiracy that I think people could really talk about now, especially after the last week where they changed the whole false start to a legal line, and then the fumble's good. Like that was all bullshit if I've ever seen it.
Yeah, I can't even watch their games anymore at this point.
And I've never been one of those that are like really believe in the huge conspiracies, but it's like, why do they just keep helping them though? It doesn't make any sense. I've never seen a
Yeah,
team that gets so many calls. And I mean, I'm an Alabama fan, and Alabama got a lot of calls at a lot of times.
who knows, man? Who knows? They're going to get somebody's going to get them in the playoffs, though. I don't think they're getting to the Super Bowl. It's going to catch up to them finally.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to take a team like
If
not being close and just having to be dominant against them to get them out, I think. Because they play
yeah,
close, they win the close games. That's kind of their forte now. All their games have been close.
yeah, they don't know how to win close games, which is dangerous. But it'll be a Buffalo actually handily beat them for once. Like it wasn't like a close game. Like it was like they had them, and I just don't know if I don't know. Chargers will give them a good run. We'll see how they do. But the Chargers have also not looked. I mean, they got a good record, but their offenses look like shit. Their defense
Yeah,
is
pretty
awesome.
vanilla offense. Pretty vanilla offense. We'll see. It's hard to trust the Ravens because you think, okay, Ravens are legit, and then they lose back-to-back games somehow, or they'll lose, win, lose, or something crazy like that. It just doesn't make any sense. They're kind of
Yeah,
week to week. But I did look at a stat, and it's like the Ravens always win when Derrick Henry gets like 20 plus carries, and they always lose when he doesn't. So it's kind of like, why is the formula not give Henry the ball more, obviously?
yeah, yeah. You never know.
So who's going to the Super Bowl this year?
Hmm.
NFC's Detroit or Philadelphia. It's one of those two. I can't. They're going to end up playing an NFC Championship. They're both really. I don't know. Green Bay's giving it to Detroit, which I
Green
still
Bay
don't
is
think.
surprisingly up right now, but the Lions, I think, will pull it out.
Even
Um,
if they don't, I mean, I still think Detroit's going to win that division. Green Bay will slip up
I don't,
somewhere
yeah, I wouldn't put my money on Green Bay. It's either Philly or Lions in the NFC for sure.
because
And I'm a
they're
little
both
surprised by
dominant.
the, I'm surprised by Philly because they fell so hard at the end of the year last year, and even kind of earlier this year looked like maybe not that good. But I think bringing Barkley in would really help, and like being able to trust a running back because they just want Hurts to run the down ball every time. That's why I don't draft Hurts. I hate. I mean, I got Saquon Barkley this year, but usually I stay away from Philly running backs because Hurts is going to be the one that carries it in on the goal line.
Yeah,
I was
they
kind
just
of scared to draft Henry for that same reason because Lamar's usually the guy at the goal line that would just take it no matter what.
shit. Lamar's leading the league in passing touchdowns, which is well, he's second now to Joe Burrow. But I mean, he's at
Yeah,
like 28, 29. He's the number two in the NFL in passing touchdowns. I didn't see that happening.
yeah, I didn't know that. That's well,
He was number one until last week.
uh, AFC is a little harder to call.
AFC's whoever's if it's not Buffalo, they're going to get destroyed by whoever the hell comes out of the NFC probably.
I would like to see Buffalo finally get there. A Buffalo Lions Super Bowl would be
Gosh,
cool.
that's gonna be so painful for one of
Yeah,
them.
yeah. I mean, a lot of the scenarios are painful though. Even like Eagles, I don't. I mean, it would be cool to
Eagles
see
won't be as
Lions
bad.
maybe just because of how shitty they are. But then I kind of like them being shitty. I don't like Lions being good,
I
and I
think
don't
it's
have to see
Detroit's
all the
year.
news be about Eminem if the Lions win.
I think it's Detroit's year. They're gonna win it. I mean, they do seem like the best team. I mean, Philly though, fucking defense looks really good too. It's really hard between those two guys, but I don't know who the hell's coming out of the AFC. Buffalo's the only logical choice. They're the
Yeah,
only team that looks capable of running
taking
the
the Chiefs
table.
out. Yeah,
Well, even the Chiefs, I think Chiefs might slip up in the first round game.
I was gonna say, how's Taylor Swift doing this season?
you know, she's still Swifty.
Is she doing good? Her team?
I feel like they finally like towards the middle of the season have toned down the Taylor Swift stuff. Like earlier in the season, right when the NFL started, though, it was the Swifty news everywhere you go. But Travis Kelce hasn't been as hot this year, and I think that's kind of one of the reasons why they've toned down the Taylor Swift stuff.
He's gonna
They're like,
retire.
ugh.
It might be his last year. If for the Chiefs for sure go on to win it, it'll for sure be his last year.
I thought last year was gonna be his last year, to be honest.
Yeah,
After
but
he won,
I mean his numbers this year compared to the past 2 years are way low than what everybody's used to for him, and the Chiefs are kind of at a point too where they want to reload their receivers. They brought in Xavier Worthy, and I'm sure they want to get some younger talent, bigger, faster guys.
yeah. But yeah, that's Buffalo and Detroit or Buffalo and Philly. It's hard to choose between those two. I think
Yeah, yeah, I agree with that. Pretty straightforward.
they just appear to be like no one's going to upset either one of them, any one of them three teams.
No, it'd be a shocker if they did.
Yeah, like no one looks capable. It'd have to be an NFC North team to beat Detroit. They have to be either the Vikings. It's not. It could be like it'd have to be the Vikings or Packers. That's the only way that's going to happen because there's just so much there.
And Tennessee North turned out to be pretty stacked this year. It's kind of crazy.
Golly, you kidding me? Titans played them all.
Yeah, yeah, not a good year for the Titans. I
Yeah,
mean, the Bears are the only downside to that conference, and they're not really like horrible. I mean, yeah, they're pretty bad, but
they're not horrible though. You're right. Their record. I feel like they're better than their record.
yeah, yeah. They're coaching. They went through all those changes. All that shit happened. So tough Super Bowl call, James. But I'll tell you one thing I like about the Chiefs that I hate to admit is that I've tailgated with a few Chief fans at the Titans games, and those guys know how to grill, and they're not all douchey, like a lot of that's the one thing I hate about tailgating. Sometimes fans are just douchebags, but every Chiefs guy I've ever known invited me to the grill to eat some. Everything
Mm.
else I hate about the Chiefs, though.
Yeah, being downtown and tailgating is fun, huh?
That's honestly the best experience to me about going to an NFL game is the tailgating. Like
Yeah,
watching the game live, like yeah, that's fun. I mean, I'm happy doing that on TV though, in the comfort of my own home. It's the tailgate and getting there early, drinking beer and grilling something. That's the best part to me.
yeah.
That always seemed like the coolest to appeal. Um, I've actually never been to a Titans game. Grew up all around Titans and Nashville and the stadium and stuff. Never did a game. Parked in the parking lot half a million times. But yeah,
Concerts,
never. Yeah, well, that was always the only free way to get downtown and do stuff is to park at
park
Nissan
there and
Stadium.
then
And
walk across the bridge.
yeah, we did it every weekend. We did
Yeah,
that.
yeah,
You
that's true.
know, when we would I've been in our fans and viewers might not know this about me, but I was in have been in metal bands pretty much my whole life ever since early high school. And when we would play Nashville shows, that's what we would do. We would park at the Nissan Stadium and like walk. Like we would park at the show, unload all of our gear,
Okay, I was
and
about
then
to ask. Don't tell me you carried all that gear across
no,
the stage.
no, we would park. We
I hope
had
you got
this.
some groupies for that.
No, there was this. I'm totally derailing the conversation from sports right now, but you're gonna have to fucking listen to me now. We had a show that we would always play on Third and Broad, right
Yeah.
where it used to be Trail West was right there in this other like little clothing store, and there was a bar that was hidden. It was called Rock Bar, and it was connected to Wannabes
Mhm.
and
I
Tootsies.
remember that. I remember that.
Yeah, we played there like 2 to 3 times a month, and we were making $300 a month playing this bar.
Damn,
And
I didn't know Nashville bars paid that good. I've always wondered.
yeah, we were doing good. Well, because our singer Elon, his success with his band before us, like really like made it easy for us to kind of get started in Nashville. And
Yeah.
the owner of that bar owned Tootsie's and Wannabes and this one, and they were connected with a hallway that ran behind all of
Oh,
them.
okay. I think I know what bar you're talking about now.
Yeah, yeah. And so the beauty of it was that if all these woo girls and the
Yep.
bachelor parties, they would go into Wannabes and Tootsies. Well, if they had to piss, the only bathroom was in our bar where we played.
Yeah.
And so there was always a line to the bathroom, and these people had to stand there and watch us. And I mean, we're just doing fucking just the just some crazy thrash stuff. We're throwing fireworks off on stage. We've got fire extinguishers blowing and blasting and strobes just making people seizure out on the front.
That's the
And
only way to do it.
oh my God, it was fun. And we were lit the whole time. And then the girls who would come through there to pee, they would just be head to toe bachelorette, with the sash and the crowns
Oh
and they're
God.
just fucking plastered.
They just
And
got off the
they're
pedal taverns, huh?
yeah, and they're right in front of the stage while we're rocking out and doing our thing, and they're like woo, and then Elon, our singer, he would take a fire extinguisher and just blast them in the fucking faces with these things, and yeah, so that's my Titans experience. Like we would unload into the bars, and then we would take the cars back over to Nissan Stadium, and just doop, hop over. It was I don't, maybe a half mile walk at most, and we didn't have to pay the $20-$30 parking fees. But yeah, no, I got Nashville band stories for days. This shit was wild.
So how many
Sometimes I
how
miss
many
it.
how many people would typically be there just for to actually see y'all play?
That
Not
would come to
necessarily
watch
like I
us.
came I came from fucking Utah to see you play, but people like I'm here to just listen to music.
We had a head count at a couple of shows in that bar, about about 100 or so, about 80 to 100. They would come check us out. They would. It was hard though because you weren't too sure how many people came to see you specifically, or
Yeah.
how many people came to see the band that we paid to be there with us, or who was there because they heard the racket from one of the other bars they were in. So it was real hard to tell who was there just for us, but it was like whenever we played, it was always packed. Like it was,
Yeah. Now
God, it was
Kevin,
a shitload of fun.
Kevin's the type of guy that if we were walking downtown and he heard the racket, he'd be like, "Yeah, let's go in there."
That's how we found it.
Yeah,
That's how
Yeah.
we found it because I was like, "What the fuck is this?" And I'm like, "Wait a minute, it's connected." And
yeah.
he's
Yeah.
like, "Well,
Yeah.
I'm fucking missing out." And I was, yeah, that's exactly where I would go.
That's
Yeah,
what would
like,
happen,
fuck,
man.
what's going here?
We'd be playing, we'd have because it's fucking downtown Nashville. It's on Broadway. And so if you walk down Nashville, every single door is open and every single door that's open is full of a country band that's playing.
Well, that's
And
what I
then
was gonna
you
say. You're the one band that's not playing country
that's doing
downtown
something
Nashville.
different. Yeah,
Yeah.
and then you walk by and then you hear someone playing Metallica covers or whatever and or Killswitch Engage, I think we did a few times. And you get the guys, albeit in their affliction shirts, they're like, "Oh, let's check that shit out." And then they come in and they're like, "Oh yeah, yeah, buddy, yeah, freaking, this is yeah, yeah, fucking Nashville." And we're like, "Yeah, go buy a shirt, and
Go buy my merch.
yeah, go buy a drink, go buy some merch, and hang out right up here, and we'll hit you with the shotgun full of blanks. It'll be a good time."
Is that
And
it's still there? It's not still there. There's no
it's a
way,
it's
right?
a pizza place now. I think it's like Luigi's
No.
or something. Yeah, all the bars, all the good places to play rock music turned into fucking pizza places. The Muse turned into Domino's. Rock Bar turned into Luigi's, and I think Rocket Town is like a Viking or something. I don't know.
Mute.
Not Rocket Town, Rutledge. Yeah.
Yeah, there's only like
Yes.
one. There's only like one good one left. I can't think of the name of it, but it's over there
Exit
close to
in.
Bridgestone.
Is Exit in still around? Is that place still?
Yeah, it's still there. Yeah, Accident is still there. We
That's not
played there
Yeah,
a
that's
few
what I'm
downtown.
times.
thinking. Yeah,
That's West
Exit.
End though. That's fucking West End.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Exit is still
it's
there.
been sold and bought a few times. The End across the street, we played it a few times.
Yeah.
I think I played pretty much every non-arena in Nashville.
But in Nashville is just like, I mean, yeah, it's a great place, but any bar you go into outside of where you played is just country. And I mean, that's okay. Like, I'm not a big country guy, though. I don't give a shit to listen to country. I'm okay with just like a DJ or just a jukebox or something. I don't need country in every bar I go into, but that's what you get. But there is one legend in Nashville, and he's still there to this day because I'll hear him after Predators game, is the guy that plays the buckets. That man's
Oh
been
yeah.
there for years.
Yeah, he's been there for a long time.
That guy, I
Yeah.
couldn't
Hey,
believe he's still out.
y'all know the dancing guy with the whistle?
I,
Y'all
I
remember
know who you're
him?
talking about. I don't know if I've ever actually seen him though, but I
He
know who you're talking about.
he was on a corner and he would always dance. He'd have his jukebox going, his little boom box, and he was a really good dancer. And he would blow his whistles, and he would work with the bucket guy a lot.
Oh, yes. Okay.
Yeah, so we got into a fight with them one night.
With the bucket
Um,
guy?
Why?
yeah.
Did y'all have a drum
Uh,
off?
well, all right. So Elon, our singer, had this idea to play downtown as like buskers, pretty much. So we were playing metal on the corner, like right in front of Sabaros.
Yeah.
We had everything loaded up in the truck, and we had everything timed out. Like we practiced it at our band house and figured out how we were gonna do it. And we unloaded like the fucking Ghostbusters and set up and started playing. So we had our PA speakers set up. I threw them up on poles real quick. While I was doing that, one of the guys grabbed my laptop. We set it up and grabbed my interface, and we plugged our guitars directly into my laptop. Ran it all through Cubase and Pro Tools, all that stuff. Ran it to the speakers, and we had a drum track playing. And our drummer would sit down and air drum to the real tracks playing, and then we would play actual guitars and actual bass, and Elon would be singing, and we're doing like Kill Switch Engage style music on the sidewalk in downtown Nashville on like Saturday nights.
Yeah.
And we had tip jars and stuff, and we would have like 30 people, 30 or 40 people like surrounding us in a semicircle. And we got into it with those guys on the corner because we were on their
Because you
corner.
took their corner.
Yeah, we got there earlier than they did, and they got all buttered. They were like, "Hey, this is our corner. This is our corner." And we're like, "It's not your fucking corner. Like, it's not. Like, it doesn't have your name on it. You're not paying rent. It's fuck off. Is what corner this is." And they were like, yeah, they were giving a shit, and they were like ready to fucking throw down, and like we were bucking up and stuff, and I forget which one of us. It might have been Elon. Elon, even though he was like the biggest, most intimidating one of us, he was always the one to try to quell stuff. And he was like, "Look, guys, we're only gonna play like 30 minutes, maybe an hour if we have enough people and we loop it twice. You guys play and you guys do your thing until like 4 in the morning." And so he kind of chilled it out. But yeah, we got
Man.
into it with the bucket guy and the whistle dude one night
Well,
because
you
we wanted
gotta you
to
gotta
play.
think about it. That's also their home. So,
Yeah.
Yeah,
you
I don't
know,
care. Yeah,
so that's
I
probably
was kind of on their side, honestly. I was like, yeah, we're being assholes, but fuck it.
but
Like,
Nashville, there's also more corners, like
yeah,
all you got to do is pick up a bucket and move. Um,
yeah,
that's a little bit easier. Like you could go play over there for 30 minutes and come back if you really want this Sbarro spot.
yeah. And it worked out. It was a lot of fun. We got the cops called pretty much every single time we did it, but before they got there, we had a good time.
Some cops have probably been okay with it.
Yeah, yeah. There was another show we did in my sister's apartment, and cops showed up to that one. That one's fun. Kevin was at that one. Kevin and Andy showed up to that one.
Yeah.
That was at the Lakes of Bellevue. You and
Yeah.
Andy were dressed up as Tyler Durden
Yep. We got an apartment. Is that what we're doing? Is it the clubhouse? No, no, in the apartment. Like
in
clubhouse
my
open.
sister's living room. Nope,
Oh,
Wow,
in the
just
living
full
room.
cool.
on band playing in the apartments.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I,
we
yeah,
moved
I
the
saw.
dining room table out and we set up and fucking played a 35-minute set. Yeah, we played
Damn.
Slayer and some originals, some Trivium, and two Lamb of God songs. And the cops showed up on our closer, which was like a heavier version of Enter Sandman. And they came in, they flipped the lights on. And we didn't stop. Like I didn't see them at first. I just saw someone turn the lights on, and they were kind of like off to the side, and I'm just screaming the lyrics and shit. I don't really see them. And then we finished the song, and oh god damn, we were lit. We were so hammered. We had been drinking like all day, and it was probably 11:30 by this point. It was a Halloween party, and yeah, they showed up, and they waited until the song was over, and
Why?
they were being very chill about it, the whole thing. And so we stopped, and we were like, "So we're done then?" And they said, "Yeah, you guys are done." We're like, "Ah, that was our last song anyway, so that's pretty
No, you
cool."
should have brought him on stage and put him on the spot. We'd be like, we got a guest singer tonight,
Yeah, brought him.
Officer Rico.
Yeah, joining us here in our dining room. Um, but yeah, my sister brags about it every chance she gets because she was proud of the fact that the cop said that was the first time they had ever seen that before. They're like, we've busted up a lot of noise complaints, and this is the first time we've seen a fucking metal band in someone's dining room.
Yeah, I imagine so.
And we were wearing like head to toe, like white and black, like black metal face paint, and we were tripped
Yeah,
out from Hot Topic, covered in chains,
I remember
fog
that.
machines going. Yeah, it was awesome. But anyway, so yeah, Titans, we still in this rebuilding year next year?
Yeah, yeah, it's a rebuild. It's a rebuilding phase, I guess, is the best way to put that
Oh
right now.
God. Yeah, well, why don't we talk about some more exciting things that involve both of us, or all three of us actually, possibly with college football?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, you guys, as a Tennessee Vol fan, y'all are in the best spot. This
I
is
know,
Oh
I know
this
yeah,
that. Yeah,
this is
fucking best
this is
spot.
this is
Don't
where
make the
this is where
championship.
things have to change, I think, with the playoff because uh if I was you, I would rather be in your position than Georgia's or
Absolutely,
Texas. Like, why would you want to play the
absolutely.
SEC championship? The SEC championship ain't gonna mean shit anymore.
I've been
I
saying
think
that.
those are going to eventually become play-in games, and whoever just has the best record at the end of the SEC championship is going to get the SEC championship. Because that's
Yeah,
what's the fucking point of playing that game? There's no point.
there's no point. It's nice to win it, but no, there's. I mean, you get the bye, but that bye don't fucking matter. because
I'd
your
rather
game.
have this bye now, not having to play this week.
Yeah, it doesn't fucking the bye is great because you're in the semifinal. I don't know.
It's
It's
like they get
it's
a bye, but you technically get a bye too because you're not having to play. You know what I mean?
yeah, the time you get the time off. It's just a matter of you're in the semifinals now. And now the one thing I noticed they're not reseeding, so it's the bracket style. So there's no reseeding, which is kind of cool.
Yeah.
So you have an opportunity to fucking, depending either way though, yeah. Like I was saying this 3 weeks ago, said Tennessee does not need to go in the SEC championship game. If I'm them, I'd rather be a two-loss team and just fucking sneak in the back door. Same
Yeah,
with Ohio State.
absolutely.
Why not? Because
1000%. I was upset because if Alabama would have beat Oklahoma, they would have been in the SEC championship the way things played out. And
mhm.
I didn't want them in there. There was no reason for them
No,
to be in there because then they would have took a risk of being a three-loss team that might have the
lost, but
committee
yeah,
could
there'd
have
have been
seen it
four
as
lost
well. They
again.
lost and now they're out. They lost early that third game, and now they're in as long as SMU beats Clemson.
I
They're
think
they're 100%,
SMU
and
is
there's
going
a
to get
chance they could
their
still be in if SMU loses. There'll still be the argument for that, but in the moment they're in for today, they're in,
I feel
and it's
like they're
kind
going
of
to get in.
we kind of fell into a pretty sweet spot too, considering everything. Like you're for
Oh
right
yeah,
now, your matchup's Ohio State, right? Like, isn't
fucking
it?
sucks. I was sitting there thinking, I've honestly got Alabama picked to win the national championship if it fucking stays. They've got the easiest road.
If Alabama stays, it's Notre Dame, SMU, and then probably Texas, considering who's playing there.
Yeah, they're going to beat Texas. They owe them for fucking last year. They've already beat Georgia. They'll beat them again if they get somehow Indiana makes it through that gauntlet. They're not, but if they did, yeah,
No,
Alabama has got the easiest road as the 11 seed, like
they
for
they
fucking
fell
sure.
into a pretty sweet situation right there. But the benefit of the doubt was the strength of schedule is what got them there.
Yeah, and that's the thing too, though. If Texas somehow fucking destroys Georgia, I mean, there's Alabama and Georgia are both going to get in, but if it comes down to Alabama or Georgia,
They could bump Alabama up and move Georgia
Alabama
down.
should get in, and Georgia
That
should be
that
out.
the way teams lose or win are going to dictate how things move, if that makes sense. Like if Clemson comes out and blows out SMU 41-3, they might say fuck SMU and take them out of the
I
playoffs.
think Clemson will win. I don't think SMU should get in. I don't. They've only played one ranked team. It was BYU, and they lost.
Well, the argument would be you told Miami they're not getting into the playoffs for the same reason that SMU will have. So how are you going to say one that's one team and not the other?
I think if SMU loses, Clemson. I mean, Clemson will obviously get in automatically, but I don't
Mhm.
think SMU should get in if they lose.
It'll be interesting. There's
They
still a
will.
chance Alabama could get kicked out because of that. And if they do, then so be it, because they should have never lost to Vanderbilt at the end of the day. But
That seems like the more Oklahoma loss. I think was the more surprising when Vanderbilt was the more. I mean, in
yeah,
comparison, because Vanderbilt should
yeah,
have fucking beat Texas too.
the Oklahoma loss was brutal as shit. And I actually had a Friendsgiving that day, so I didn't get to watch it. And I've never been more happy to not get to watch a game in my life because I just didn't give a shit because I didn't have to see any of it. And it was probably the first game I haven't watched in years, though.
They looked confused. It was a very weird game, but I mean, honestly, looking at it, I got the bracket pulled up. Penn State, Arizona State. I mean, so I'm actually excited too because Arizona State's always been my second school that I've always followed. So I'm pretty sure they're going to beat Iowa. Their quarterback's fucking legit. Their
Yeah.
team's good. I think though they got a chance to fucking make a run too. I think Tennessee definitely has the hardest fucking road though.
Yeah, I mean, just this. I mean, for viewership,
Ohio
that game is going to
State.
be amazing.
Oh
If,
yeah.
if it ends up staying right there where it is.
Ohio State then Oregon. Golly, no one's got that fucking much of a trouble. No, no one.
Mm-mm.
Nobody. I mean, if you're Indiana, but they're not beating
It's
fucking
like
Georgia.
you kind of get punished because you know why it's like that because the conference champion gets the automatic bye, so that puts SMU in that sweet spot if they win, which is bullshit because that means they have to play a lower seeded team like Alabama. Now
They're gonna get
Tennessee being
smoked.
higher ranked right there in the middle at like 7-8 or whatever, 7-6-7 or whatever it is, really fucks you because you have to play that other tough team that just missed being in the conference championship.
Well, I don't know. So UNLV, looking at UNLV could beat Boise. It was a really close game in October when they played, and I think I don't see why Boise State deserves a fucking bye. I would put SMU. I mean, there's no. Like that team, the fourth shouldn't get a bye. I mean, I don't. I mean, maybe, but I can see why. But like, the Big 12,
Yeah.
Arizona State, one of the Big 12 should probably get that bye if they beat Iowa State.
Yeah,
I don't think just because Boise's ranked higher, and honestly, UNLV might win that game. I think they will, and also I think Clemson's going to beat SMU, and I think Texas will beat Georgia.
yeah.
Because Texas just wants to beat them because Georgia probably has no interest in playing in this game.
I don't. They don't. But I don't know how I feel about Texas. They haven't really played much top teams. Honestly, they
Georgia,
played Georgia and got smoked.
yeah, that's it.
And that's been it. I mean, they ain't really. They played what Michigan, but it turns out Michigan was a dud. Um,
A&M should have beat them.
A&M could have beat them. Uh,
Yeah,
so I mean, Texas has the players to win on paper, but they haven't proven to me they can. And sometimes I think when these teams get the easier schedule, it hurts them in the games like this because they haven't been tested.
yeah, and we're gonna see. And now, obviously, after the champ, so we got tomorrow, then Saturday's games tomorrow and Saturday. Once it all shakes up, it's gonna be fun to see how the bracket lines up. But as it sits now,
Tennessee's
it's not.
got
They're
screwed,
fucked.
man.
They're. I mean, the Tennessee's not fucking. Now, if the game's the only way they're beating Ohio State is if it's at Tennessee, but at Ohio State, they're fucking losing. There's no fucking. I've watched this Tennessee team play. I hate it because I
Tennessee
really
on the
do.
road is a different team than Tennessee at home.
Tennessee at home, they're not fucking getting beat by anybody. Oregon
Tennessee on
needs
the
to fucking
road,
beat there.
it's just for some reason, like even the start. I mean, they came back and you wouldn't know at the final score of that Vandy game. But when that Vandy game was going on, I was like, oh shit. I
I was
watched the
like,
opening kickoff and then
fucking.
the interception. I was like, this looks just like the Alabama game.
But then beating them by 2 touchdowns actually looks good because of how Alabama lost and Texas almost lost to them.
Yeah, Texas was damn near close to losing too.
They should have fucking lost. But as it sits right now, the bracket, the way it sits, who do you have? I'll tell you who I have. Or I go first, you go first. Who do you got in the national championship as it sits right now?
Um,
See, you want to just run through the matchups real quick? It won't take long.
yeah, I was gonna say I don't know who's on each side right
So,
now to
so,
tell
so
you.
let's go. So you got a first 5-12 matchup: Penn
Who's
State,
it?
Arizona State. Who you got?
Hold on, let me. Which one was that again?
Penn State, Arizona State, 5-12
Oh,
matchup.
Arizona State. I don't. Penn State to me hasn't proven anything either.
Yeah. So then you got. I agree with that 100%. And then next up, you got the 8-9 Ohio State, Tennessee. I think we both have already talked about. We think Ohio State's going to win that.
It's a coin toss, man. That's a hard one. Like I said, how things shake up could determine.
But it's the
I
way
would
it
put
sits
my
now.
I would say Ohio State,
Yeah.
but it wouldn't be any surprise if Tennessee wins it though.
No, I wouldn't be surprised. That's a good point. Okay, so now you got Notre Dame, Alabama.
Alabama,
Yep. Georgia and Indiana.
Georgia,
Okay, so now you got the Elite Eight here. You got BY or Boise State and Arizona State.
is the
Wow.
Arizona State.
Arizona State could, I think so. Now
They're
you
set up
have
in a nice spot too. I didn't really think about it. Yeah, and look, they're the last seed right now too. That's crazy.
11 and 12 are set up by far the best, which it doesn't make
Being later is
sense.
good because of the conference champ. They're going to have to take away the conference champion being a bye automatically.
They're gonna figure that out real quick because yeah, I think so too. So now you got Oregon, Ohio State.
Oregon. I think Oregon wins that twice.
So okay, well that's tough. See, I go Ohio State there, so that's where we differ. Okay, so so now we got SMU and Alabama, of
See, I take Alabama all day on that one.
course. You got Texas, Georgia for the third time.
Man, that's a hard one. That's a hard one too. I would probably say Georgia personally.
Yep, same here. So our bracket's pretty much the same. So now you got Georgia, Bama. Who's going to the championship?
See, here's where I hate to say it, but I think Georgia would win a rematch.
Hmm. I can see that, but I'm going to go Alabama.
I mean, Alabama has Georgia's number. I think Alabama. I don't like uh, Georgia's quarterback. I can't think of his name.
Carson
Carson
Beck.
Beck. I'm not a believer in him at all. I don't think he can ball. I think he gets bailed out a lot. They should have lost to Georgia Tech. They got lucky as fuck to be Georgia Tech.
Oh my gosh, that would have been great had they lost Georgia Tech. That would
Yeah,
have
that
been
should have happened. They've got so lucky. But I just, I don't know. That's a tough one. Like to lose to Alabama twice in 1 year. Like Kirby Smart's a good coach. That defense is a good defense. All it takes is Jalen Milroe not being comfortable, and Alabama don't know what to do.
great.
So,
Yeah, yeah. So okay, so that's fair. I mean, it's a better point. I think Alabama wins, but I agree with your points more. I think I'm
yeah.
just going off emotion and saying Alabama's going to win it. But if you're looking at it legit logically, Georgia should
I'm
win that
also looking
game.
at it from a jaded standpoint where it's not Nick Saban, Alabama.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, so then you got Oregon and Arizona State on the other end there, which is surprising Final Four run for Arizona State.
They could do it though. They
Oh
could.
no, the way it's lined up, they're absolutely going to fucking
If
do
they
it if
get
it
by
stays
Penn
like
State,
that.
they legit are going to get there.
Yeah,
Um, I like this Oregon team, and I don't hate Oregon, but I don't like Oregon.
yeah. They beat Arizona State. Unfortunately, I hate to say it, they would beat Arizona State.
Yeah.
So you got an Oregon Georgia national championship. Who you got?
I'm probably taking Georgia in that championship game. I think SEC still reigns. I mean, Oregon, who has Oregon played other than Ohio State so far?
Fucking Oregon State. I don't
Yeah,
even.
that's what I'm saying. They also haven't been tested either. Now they did beat Ohio State, and I can't remember, was it at Ohio State? Like
I I
that's
think
pretty
it was.
that's pretty impressive. And I mean, it came close to Ohio State quarterback not knowing how to like stop the clock. But anyways, I mean, they did beat him on the road.
Yeah, I don't know. I see Ohio State beating Oregon again. They're for the first time, and I have Ohio State playing Alabama, and then that's a toss up. But I could somehow see Ohio State winning it all just because they like to do that shit.
Now,
They like to
Ohio
fucking
State
lose
was,
to Michigan and win it all.
if you go back and watch our first episode, I did say, so it's kind of shitty of me to change things now, but Ohio State's who I picked to win it all, I'm pretty sure at the beginning of the year.
That's where I'm at with the current lineup, but it's going to change next week when we talk because we'll have a different lineup.
Yeah, yeah, we need to talk about this next week too, because that's going to change. Like if you put Tennessee in a different spot, they might have the magical run. It all depends on where you're at. And right now, if
Tennessee's,
you're Bama and Arizona State, you got the best spot.
I agree. Yeah, you definitely do. I mean, literally, you have the best
But the
spot to at
thing
least get to the
is,
Final Four.
if everybody wins that's supposed to, if SMU actually beats Clemson, I don't know if anything changes.
No, nothing changes. No, if everyone wins, nothing
Other
changes.
other than
Georgia will drop.
maybe, other than maybe Notre Dame's sliding back because Georgia wins and Georgia gets up to that sixth spot.
Well, if Texas beats Georgia, I think Georgia will drop to maybe the
Georgia
10.
could drop, so they could drop to like a number nine, and you could get Tennessee
I
might get bumped up to eight. You could see Tennessee, Georgia,
You could see
um,
Tennessee, Indiana,
Tennessee, Indiana. So there's a lot
because
of weird things that could change. They might look at it and say we like what we have and not change anything.
I think they should. I think they got to change it because they could if they want. I don't know if now this if now Georgia if Texas beats Georgia because if Georgia beats Texas that's going to really fuck shit up. Um,
Yeah, yeah,
but if Texas does beat Georgia, which I think they will, just because they fucking rematch, Georgia probably doesn't. They know they're in no matter what.
yeah.
Um, I could see Georgia dropping to the 10 and then everyone else going, you know what I mean? I think you probably have a 7-10 of Ohio State, Georgia, which that would be fun.
Yeah.
I think you'd see a Tennessee, Indiana. I don't think Notre Dame and Alabama is going to shift. I don't
I
think
don't,
Penn
yeah,
State,
yeah. In that
well, Penn
scenario, I don't
State.
think so either. But it could benefit Tennessee, like you saying, shifting to Indiana.
Yeah, because just Tennessee just needs a home game. It doesn't matter who they play. As long as they're at home, it's going to be fine.
Yeah, yeah.
But you,
And then
you
they
play
would
Oregon
be
next.
the only away game they would play then is SMU. Well, like I guess Texas, huh?
Well, it'd be neutral site next round.
Oh yeah, that's just the first round, right?
Just first round, you get that home game. The one now Penn State, if they get destroyed by Oregon, which is probably going to happen, they might drop a lot.
Yeah, but yeah, I mean, and Penn State to me, they're the same Penn State team that we see every year. It's just that this year, you know, they look a little bit better. They're always on the
Well,
outside looking in, but with the extended playoffs they're in, so
yeah, I mean, a lot of shit could change. I mean, you could see Tennessee go up to number 6 and Ohio State up to a 5.
yeah.
But
There's a
Notre
lot of
Dame,
shifts.
well, Notre
I
Dame
don't
can't
think
get that 5 though.
there's no
So,
way Alabama moves up past 11, I don't think. I think they're at 11 no matter what.
which is great so far for them. It's the best
Yeah,
spot.
I mean, I'm not complaining. The only thing that would suck for me is like just a tougher matchup. Like I'm okay if Penn State got pushed back to 6. That doesn't bother me at all. Would be something like I don't think Tennessee can move up that much. I'm okay, if
No,
Ohio State got
Tennessee
moved up
won't move
that
up that
much.
much.
Yeah, I don't see anybody moving up enough. The crazy thing will be if SMU loses, who gets in, SMU or Bama? That'll be what changes everything.
And Bama should they'd have to Bama would have to get in. I can't imagine that you'd say no to so they were 3-1 against top 25 college football teams,
And
and
they have more ranked wins than I think
three.
anybody.
Yeah, and SMU doesn't have one.
They don't have
They
one. Yeah, you're
and they would
correct.
be 0-2 versus ranked teams. There's no way you choose SMU over Alabama.
They would only do it just to be like, hey, they're three. We can't push them too far back.
To be honest, the Big 12, I mean, Iowa State's a good fucking team. I hate to say it. One of the if hopefully Arizona State can pull it off. I think they will. They're hot. They're playing really really good. But Iowa State they won't get a shot as a three-loss team. But that's a team that would do damage and also do damage in
Yeah,
playoffs. But I
yeah,
think UNLV might beat Boise State just because that matchup. And if they do, they're not going to get the bye. The Big 12 team will get the bye. Whoever wins that.
yeah,
And that'll change up things dramatically.
yeah.
Because then you might see Penn State beat UNLV
You
or
know,
whoever that
that's
five seed
possible.
is.
That's possible, and we don't really know what will happen. I mean, the committee's weird when it comes to conference championship games. Like, cause remember when who got smoked by Georgia? Was that Oklahoma State? Like, who was that had no business being in the championship game?
Oh, six. It was oh my gosh, TCU,
Yeah,
Washington.
yeah, yes, and they had no business being there, and
No, it was
because they got
TCU. It was
yeah,
TCU. It was
and they got
TCU.
smoked their conference championship game,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
and the committee decided we don't care. You know, they're there, and they didn't care, and then they did win their first game in the playoffs. I can't remember against who, like Michigan or somebody. No, it wasn't Michigan because Georgia played Michigan.
I just don't want to
Uh,
see any conference rematches in round one.
Not really. That would be
Round
good too,
two,
though.
of course, I'd love to see Alabama, Tennessee again. I'd love to see
Yeah,
Georgia,
yeah.
Alabama
I
again.
would love to see Tennessee again, just to see if they could get the revenge or not. Uh,
Round one, fuck no. Like they're gonna have there, and I'm sure they're aware of that. And I'm sure they're gonna move shit around that where that doesn't happen.
yeah, I like how it is now. Other than like, I mean, you guys, I'm
Tennessee fan,
sure
I hate
you
it.
don't like it. Because, I mean, as
Fuck
somebody that
no.
hates Tennessee, I love it. But you guys did get screwed there. I admit that. Um,
Big time. Yeah, you get the two most. I mean, the only other person that could be as
on
screwed
paper,
would be
though, like
Indiana.
if this was just a Saturday game, I would be excited to watch that.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. At Ohio State, it's not gonna be fun. You never know. Who knows? Maybe we'll pull something out of our ass, right?
Man, I mean, Tennessee can score and they can score quick. That's one thing about Tennessee. They're never out of a game.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, we'll see. I mean, that the game against Vanderbilt showed me a lot. I
Yeah.
hate to say it like that, but I mean, they being down 17-7 on the road, you're like, oh, they're gonna fucking blow it.
That's
That's
what
what
I'm
they've done
saying.
in the past,
They came back and
and
then
then dominated.
yeah, and then dominated. Like you couldn't even tell that the score was what it was at some point. It wasn't like a last minute comeback. You know, it was pretty
No.
dominant comeback.
So that was huge for them and Heupel because he wins. He tends to lose big games on the road. I
Yeah.
don't think he's won any big games on the road. I say big games. He has not. Things that have had meaning. Going back to the fucking South Carolina game.
Yeah.
But all they had to do was win and get it when it was four teams, and they fucking blew it.
Yep. And they blew it at South Carolina. Yep.
And then it's been every fucking year.
Yeah.
Every fucking
Well,
year.
you're in. That's the good thing. You don't have to
Yeah,
worry
they're
about
in.
not being in. Alabama
They're
still
in
has
now.
that chance that they're not in.
They're in
Uh,
now.
but you're in, and you know that's all that matters. At the end of the day, that's what you start the season saying we want to be in the playoffs, and you're
But
in.
I haven't been this excited for college football in years. This is exciting.
Yeah, yeah. This has been
It's
my life since 2008.
Well, I mean, I love college football, but I mean, it hasn't been as exciting since the fucking NIL came.
Yeah.
It's not. It really hasn't been. You know, could you imagine if Colorado somehow ended up in the Big 12 championship? The fucking media,
Oh,
you
the
know,
media would be
oh my
insane.
gosh. But
Dion
yeah,
is still pushing today. Hey, for them to be in the playoffs.
yeah, no, they're not getting it. Not at all. No, there's not a chance. It doesn't.
No,
They're
but the media
just
would be crazy. I'll tell you what, I can't wait to see is how Dion does next year without his star
he's going to
receiver and star quarterback.
he's going to the NFL with whoever drafts his son.
I think he should, and I
He
think he
will.
eventually will go to the NFL. If it's not next year, he'll. I mean, I feel like this was a stepping stone.
Yeah, he did great. Colorado was. It's been a long time since they've been relevant, and he's shown
It
he can coach. I mean,
it
I'm
brought
sorry,
him money, more money than they've seen in a long time. I tell you
and they're
that.
good this year. They're not
Yeah,
bad. They
they're
are a
good.
good team.
Last year was kind of like, oh, it's just Dion. This is fun. Their record sucked, but they got a good record. They're a good team.
Yeah.
But I can also see their whole team just sitting out whatever bowl game they get in.
Yeah. Well, it depends on which one it is. If they give him a, yeah, most likely though, they're not going to play. But he's probably, I think he's going to the NFL with whoever drafts his son.
The fucking Lions squeak it out at the end like they always do. Well, they don't always do it, but they just squeaked it out.
Oh, did they win?
Yeah, just kicked a field goal winner.
Of course they did.
Dang, come
Oh,
on.
that's a short field goal though. Green Bay's
Yeah, it
very
wasn't
better
anything. No. They
defense.
just they were just running the clock out pretty much. Oh
Yeah.
Josh Jacobs had 3 touchdowns, and I got him in one league. I needed that. So,
Yeah. Yeah.
but on that
Yeah.
note, I think we wrap it up there, and we come back to this discussion because this college football discussion is going to be bigger next week
Gonna be huge next
because
week.
everything's going to be set, and we're going to know we're going to know the for sure matchups. I think a lot of this could stay the same, maybe depending like what happens, but come Sunday at 12 o'clock, we're going to know everything. So.
Yeah, yeah, we will. I think yeah, we'll know. Yeah, we'll have an idea, better idea after tomorrow night and then Saturday night too. Once we get these championship games out of the way, that probably nobody wants to play.
Unfortunately, James, the Kraken have no chance.
Well, it was a rebuilding year.
There's a
We got a yeah. I
Hey,
think we
Caleb
got a new coach.
Williams.
NIL money, screwed them is what I think.
Yeah. Um, well, we play for the name, for the jersey, for the logo on the front of the jersey, not the name on the back.
For the
Just
beer,
looking
you
at
play
putting,
for the fans and the
yeah,
beer.
just putting pucks in nets, and we'll circle back and try again next year.
No.
Everybody played good games.
Hey, better than the Predators.